Connecticut is filled with entrepreneurs and innovators, and I love the things that they are building and making in the state of Connecticut. And so we were spotlighting 3 of those products tonight, and we're starting with a golf club. So for those of you who love to golf, you have to watch this. I have Brian Whitman of MXV Golf, and you're from Brookfield, Connecticut, so thanks for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
First of all, tell me about your company, and why did you name it MXV Golf? It's a long name.
It is a long name. MXV is mass times velocity, which is which equals momentum, and momentum is where we got our concept for the golf ball.
Show me this. Okay.
So this is Newton's cradle. We're used to seeing this on a desk somewhere, someone's office. It's something you waste.
It also keeps a nice beat.
It does keep a nice beat.
Love that.
It's got a nice tick-tock that we like to also remind ourselves when we're putting.
So from this came a golf putter?
I'm a horrible golfer. And
you're admitting that, so that's really good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm really awful, and so I'm looking at this one day, and I'm saying, that makes a lot of sense to me, because a ball is hitting a ball at the center of gravity, which we call the sweet spot in golf. So why am I having a problem with a putter that's flat-faced? It would only make sense that a putter be round-faced, but why isn't there a round-faced putter out there?
All right, so you have a putter in your hand that you have just brought on the market.
Yes.
And let's look at it. It's square.
Well, it's round-faced.
Round-faced, but
it's round-faced
kind of
and it's square. Yeah, it's what they call a mallet putter. And so what you'll notice about the putter is that the diameter of the radius here on the round face is identical to that of a ball.
Right.
So essentially you're hitting a ball with a ball. So if you do it as instructed, you're always going to hit the center of gravity every time, and that's what we look for in golf. We're looking for a true roll, looking for accuracy to the hole, and so that's what you're going to get.
So does this have all of the backing behind it that it needs to get on the courses, to get in the hands of the big guys?
Yes, the thing you hope for is that the USGA says it's a legal club. If it were a non-conforming or illegal club, you could still get probably 80 or 90% of the golfers out there playing it for the edge, and that would have been fine for me. But when they said it was legal, it was like
so it's
celebration
legal.
time. It's
now
legal
there's one
club,
more thing that you want, which is what?
Which is someone to play it.
You need like a Tiger Woods or something like that.
Well, Tiger Woods could use it, actually. Most golfers could use it. I may not be the best demonstration of that, but it is ugly accurate.
I love that. All right, how hard was this to get to market? Was the state of Connecticut behind you? Did you get a small loan? How did you make this?
No, this is all self-funded, actually. I have 2 partners that are involved that look over the books and generate the funding necessary to make this happen.
Which is really hard to do.
It's really hard, and they tell you in the beginning to look for friends and family anyway, because if you start going with an outside investment firm of some kind, they're usually going to take a big percentage of your company, and we're just starting out. We need as much headway and much runway as we can get.
Biggest challenge in making this? I mean, take me from the beginning.
The biggest challenge is that we can't make it here. We can't make it in the United States, and a lot of manufacturers can't. You hear this all the time. People are going overseas to make product. Well, why are they going overseas to make product? Because it's cheaper.
Right, and we need to start making things in this country again.
We do, and I sent out, many RFPs, probably 50 or more RFPs, to try to get companies interested in making this. If it were a military device, that might get some attention. So at one point I thought about, well, let's just call it a trigger, and then we'll get someone to actually take an interest in it. I actually got companies that said, I don't like golf. You don't like golf, but you like having people work, don't you?
Right.
So, ideally, we'd make it here. Ideally, we'd have a factory. We'd be able to manage the quality control.
Well, I hope somebody listening says, you know what, I have a factory. Maybe we can, retrofit, and we can make that in the state of Connecticut, which would be great.
I would love that to happen, but I'm not hopeful. We actually
see, that's where you're wrong. You have to be hopeful, because as we change things and as we grow and innovate and make the state prosper, it's guys like you and the other 2 gentlemen that we'll be talking to. We have to make this stuff here.
Yeah, it would make sense. And in fact, this is made of brass, and so where would you think this should be?
The Brass City.
Waterbury, right? So I had a gentleman call me who actually saw it online, and he said, you know what, we want to help you make this. And I was like, this is awesome. So I got up at 6 in the morning to this meeting to see this guy, and he brought me into his conference room, and he said, we can't help you. I said, well, then why am I here? He said, well, I just want to explain why I can't help you.
Well, no, that's a waste of time.
It's like, well, that's really a shame.
All right, so what does this retail for?
This is $199.
Okay. And that's a good price as far as putters go?
It's up there with the big boys, but it competes with the big boys, so that's what it is. No
okay,
excuses.
put the ball down. Let's see what it does.
All right.
And and tell me how it differs. How does it feel in the hand of a golfer?
Well, it feels, well, I mean, I'm a little biased, but it feels great because it's heavy. It's a heavy head. It's almost 400 grams of brass here. We promote,
get the specs out there because people are watching.
Yes, we promote a pendulum swing. So and that's what you want to do in golf. I mean, well, there's two schools of thought, but ours is the pendulum swing, and so this helps you with that. It's got a heavy head on it, and we teach. This is not your father's putter. Most golfers, even with this brand new putter in their hands, what they'll do is they'll treat it like their old putter. But this is a new problem, right? We've already decided that putter isn't working for you.
And you have a center technology that you've developed.
Center strike technology.
Right.
Yes, and what that does is it enables you, even if you're off center, to strike the ball and get the accuracy that we're looking for. Center strike just meaning essentially the ball size and the radius that we talked about, and the alignment that we use gives you that accuracy.
Okay, so try to hit the cup, you know, since we're rolling on tape here.
Yeah, so the idea is that you have to play it a little differently. So what you do is you sole the club into the ground because you want this movement. You want the movement of
tick, tick,
tick,
tick,
tick,
tick.
So you want that arc, right? So you sole it to the ground, and you have a slight forward press, so you can see the top groove of the putter head. So it's sole, press, and then you sweep it in a pendulum motion. And if you're lucky enough.
Well, there was a hazard there. Yeah, I
yeah,
saw
there's a hazard. And of course, this always works at home really well, you know, when no one's watching.
So again, this is a different movement from most putters.
Well, we notice when we show people that they want to set it up like their regular putter, and you can't. It's a different tool. It's a different set of instructions. And so if you follow those, you're going to get the accuracy that we promote.
All right, try it again because we have time.
We could always cut.
No, we can't. We're just going to roll.
No,
on
but
this.
we could though.
No, but we're not.
No, but we should. There you go.
Awesome. Okay, that's great. All right, tell me the wish list. What are you doing with this in the next 2 years? What are the hopes? That you build it in the state of Connecticut?
I would love to build it in the state of Connecticut, and that's sort of taken a second. That's definitely on the wish list. We would love to make it here. We would love to have some control over the manufacturing and especially the quality, because, for example, made overseas, we reject 80% of what we get.
Okay, and it's brass.
And it's brass.
And it's heavy.
There's also a steel. We're also making one in steel. So the wish list.
make it here.
Make it here. Have someone of some note play it.
That's not me.
Well, but you're a good golf cart driver, but we're looking actually
right.
for a good golfer.
Right.
And then sit back and watch it take off, because really that's that one item that's missing, is someone who's going to play it.
And if it's made here, and you make some money, and you spend money in the state, and around we go.
That's right.
Brian, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having
it.
me. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
As we continue on talking to entrepreneurs and innovators, we have Julian Matthew with us, and he has something called the Spearhead Spade. And this is it. It's not very heavy. And if you notice, you said it looks like kind of like a rocket.
Like a space shuttle.
Like a space shuttle. This has a lovely backstory to it. How did this come about?
About 3 years ago, actually probably closer to 4 years ago now, my dad, he was 85 at that time, he's 88 nearly now, went out in the springtime to do his gardening. And he has 2 artificial hips, 2 artificial knees, and it's really difficult for him to do his gardening with a regular shovel. And he's one of these guys, he's a serial inventor. So he said, you know what, I either have to give up my passion of gardening, or I have to go out there and come up with a better way of doing this. Went into his tool shed, you know, started cutting things and started making some modifications.
Did you watch him do this as his son?
I was living in Pennsylvania at the time.
So he was making this up on his own
He was doing all this
garage.
together,
Okay.
yeah. And he tried it, and I said, wow, it goes just in like a feather, he says.
So this was the shape that he came up with?
Yep, it's the shape. You know, we played with the angles for it to make it the best shape it could be eventually, but the basic shape he came up with worked well. And we just modified it slightly just to make it even the best it could be. And
did he come up with the name Spearhead Spade, or did you?
I came up with that. I have a marketing background, so I wanted to have something pretty catchy, and it's kind of shaped like a spear. It's kind of, or a space shuttle.
What makes this easy? The shape, it goes right into the ground, because I have problems with that when I'm digging. You know, if you get the square one or one that's not quite as deep like that, I can't do it.
It's all about the physics. And what it has to do with is, well, a regular spade, that's even only 4 or 5 inches wide. Let's say you weigh 100 pounds and it's 5 inches wide. That's only, what, 20 pounds per inch, right? Well, if you're doing it now with 1/10 of an inch, that's now 1,000 pounds per square inch. So that's why. So 1,000 pounds, 20 pounds. That's the difference. And then it's wedging, and then it's slicing its way as it's going up. Because if you look at this, right, it's very, very sharp here. And we have to make the blade extra thick and extra hard to be able to handle putting all your weight on this. Usually at shows, we'll do this. It's a cement floor at shows. We'll stand straight up on it.
This is wood, but we still can't dig through that.
I know, we'll dig through the floor. And I could tell you a story about that. But because it's so hard and thick, it doesn't damage the tip. But then it wedges, and then it slices because it's sharpened from tip to tail.
Wow.
All right? So it's a slicing action versus a chopping action. Just imagine, you know, it's like the equivalent of sticking a steak knife in the ground this way or a butter knife this way.
I love it.
Very big difference.
Made in Connecticut.
Made in Connecticut, that's right.
I love that. Where?
In Coventry, Connecticut. Not too far from stores.
Okay, so when you got the idea from Dad and he drew all this out and it went to market, how easy was it to get this made in Connecticut and get it to market?
Well, you know, it's through an iterative process. I put my requests for quotes to all the major manufacturers of shovels all over the world, India, China,
Why
United
not
States.
put it out there? We have the internet.
That's right. That's right. And got all the quotes back, and I picked the best quality manufacturers I could find for the price that I wanted to. I think this would sell for and be able to make the profit that we need to make.
And you have a coating so it doesn't rust.
That's correct. This is an epoxy powder coating which helps protect it for a period of time. Just like any coating, it's going to wear out. But I'm sure you know of shovels that have been never been coated, sitting in farmers' barns, hundreds of years old, and they're still usable. It makes it look good and unique, at least for a while.
What does it cost?
These are $42.50, and we also have a long-handled version. It's about 59 inches long for people that need more leverage, and those are $45.
And I can tell you've gotten this down because you said that you did QVC not so long ago, and so you've got the whole sales pitch. You said you've sold 10,000 of these.
We've sold 10,000 in less than 3 years, a little more than 2 years.
Your dad, you said he was a serial inventor. Has he invented some other things that we need to know about?
Oh, man. There's too many things to go with.
Did anything go to market?
None of them have gone to market, and I'm pretty much a serial inventor too. I have 16 patents myself for major corporations like Johnson & Johnson and for other.
Well, go ahead. Just what else have you invented?
Invented one of the first products to make a bevel on a catheter using radio frequency. So if you do IB catheters, I've done processes for making automated vacuum cleaner hose cut-off machines.
You're all over the place.
I'm all over the place.
The proudest one, the one you're most proud of, the thing that you've invented?
Well, I like this the most because I'm able to do something for my dad, and I'm able to do something for myself. I always wanted to do a consumer product. All the other things I did were for major corporations, for internal to the business. And so I wanted to do something that I could kind of show my dad what I can do, but also to make him proud about what he's done.
Which, and as I said, it's an awesome story. So what are you working on next? Or do you think this is going to be a full-time job?
Oh, this is a full-time job right now. And it's
Do you need a musical jingle for this? Because maybe we could put that out there too, and some musician from, maybe somebody from air guitar. Maybe somebody could write your jingle.
That's right.
So this is going to be a full-time job.
It is a full-time job, and for myself. And we are going to come out with another version of this that's going to be a mini-me of this. So it's kind of in between a hand trowel and this size, basically.
Same shape, though?
Same basic shape, same technology that's going to be going into it.
Martha Stewart should know about this, I think.
Martha should know about this.
Well, there you go, Martha
State
Stewart.
of Connecticut should be doing groundbreaking with this shovel.
Yeah, well, see, and we
can do gold.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in. This is a wonderful, as I said, I love this story, and I'm going to try gardening and try one of those again.
You're going to love it.
All right.
It says, when regular shovels just won't do, this one's for you.
Such a pitch, man. All right, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming in, Julian. You are looking at my website right now, which has a QR code on it, networkconnecticut.com, which I write about people and places and things in the state of Connecticut. And this show, we're continuing on talking about entrepreneurs and innovators, and I have Jeff Farrell with me. And you have made something which we're looking at right now, which you stuck my picture on, which is from a local diner, which is so great. And it's called the Earth Hook. How did you come up with the name?
Just trying to incorporate the idea that we're trying to help consumers, but also help the earth at the same time. It's one of those small steps can make big differences in the environment.
And what does this do? I've seen the video, which I think is very cute. You know, a woman riding through.
It's my wife, actually.
Yes, riding through the supermarket. And where do you put your reusable bags? Because as I said to you, I feel so guilty if I don't remember my bags to bring in. But you have made this little contraption that does what?
You just hang your bags on the front. You bring them in. A lot of people will nest several bags together.
Or you throw them in there.
Yeah, exactly. Now they throw them in here, or they throw them up here where your child's supposed to be, or your eggs or something.
You got to push it this way so we can
like
see
this.
you there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. So you just hook them on.
Yeah, just hook them on like that. Just hang them on the front.
Okay,
of the
so
cart, like
now
that.
you can see that. So you motor about in your little cart, and they're all in front.
Yeah, and then when you pull up to the register, the bagger can just grab them and unhook them, and they're right there.
What world are you living in? There's no bagger. We're bagging our own stuff.
Or as you drag the cart through, you
all right,
can do the same thing.
So step right over here. So how did you get this to market? Tell me the story. Something happened to you when you started to design this. So what happened?
About 3 years ago, I had a heart attack. And at 43 years old and being a corporate pilot, it was very tragic information. And
you were flying? You were home? What happened?
No, I was at home. I was on vacation out in Martha's Vineyard, and I woke up in the morning and I felt like I had a congestion and stuff, and it just didn't feel right. And I took a shower and tried to get feeling better, and it just wouldn't go away. And I woke my wife up to tell her that I wasn't feeling great and that I was going to go try to find a decongestant someplace. Right. And she said, "Well, let's go to the hospital."
So she takes you in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they say you've had a heart attack. Hopefully it was a mild one and you're doing fine.
Yep, doing great.
So that was a life experience you weren't counting on.
Exactly.
So you start to draw, you start to think. How did this come out of that?
Well, how it came is that during that process, because I'm a pilot, I was out of work for about 9 months, and so I was regularly going to the grocery store with my wife, and in going there, she was putting the bags in here and down the bottom.
She was shuffling stuff around.
Exactly, and as we all see the problems with that. And I just said to myself, why hasn't somebody just put a hook on the front of the cart? And that was purely out of convenience for my wife, saying, let's do something to help the shopper. So I went home and I started doing research on, just to see if there was anybody out there that was doing it, and just nobody had adopted it yet. And I started looking into the problems that the single-use shopping bags cause. And there's between 500 billion and 1 trillion single-use shopping bags get used in the world every year.
So you're doing your part. You're trying to fix the planet. You're trying to be green. It's reuse, repurpose. So how did that come out of your head into, these are metal?
Yes, these are metal. Eventually, we'd like to make them out of plastic, but there's tooling costs involved and everything to develop the tools to make them out of plastic. So in order to get them out there, so that people can try them out. And in fact, this Saturday, we're launching the product at Highland Park Market.
Which is in what town?
There's one in Manchester and one in South Windsor.
So they said, stick it on our carts.
Yeah, and he's been our mentor through this whole thing, and that's what, you need to get hooked up with somebody who knows an industry. I'm a pilot. My brother-in-law's into marketing, who's my partner in this adventure, and my wife also.
So, and that's how you got to me, because your wife reached out to me and said, hey, I've got this husband and he did this thing. Yep. So what is the dream? These are going to be made in plastic at some point, and you want to get them in all the supermarkets in the country, let's
say? Yeah. Yeah, actually the world. United States is,
why
well,
not?
I mean, the United States is kind of behind a lot of the other countries.
Yeah.
I mean, Canada's way ahead of us.
Sure.
Ireland's way ahead of us. Some of these little tiny countries that they understand that the plastic bags, it's a habit. And that's if we can just train ourselves to do some different habits. And there are organizations like Surfrider that do campaigns and Heal the Bay out of California that do bays to try, or excuse me, do things to try to educate the public on,
Sure.
on using reusable shopping bags. But this is something, if we can make it convenient for people, they're more likely to do it.
Are you making this in Connecticut?
Yes, we are.
Where's it being made?
In Chester, Connecticut, there's a small company who, there again, a connection. My older daughter is in school with the owners.
Networking Connecticut,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
She's in school with the gentleman who owns Chapco, and they're making it out of metal for us. And then we have some others that we're working with to try to make it out of plastic. And
Was it a concerted effort on your part to get these made in our state?
yes, yeah, mainly because as things have developed, I've started to understand the importance of that even more. But initially, it was because I needed it nearby so that I could, because I was inexperienced and I wanted to be able to go and see the people. And I'm a very tactile person, and it's hard for me to communicate over the phone and via emails and things. And I found that there's a lot of potential for mistakes where you can go and you sit down with the person across the table and you say, "This is what I'm trying to do."
Sure.
And that's it makes community better, and all the other people that have helped us.
So this is going to be a
too.
full-time job on top of you piloting, being a corporate pilot. Are there other things that are going to come out of this, do you think?
I think so. We already have a few products that we're
Anything
thinking
you
about.
can give us a sneak peek of, or just sort of tell me what the application might be, or would that be giving away a
No, not really.
secret?
One of them is like a cleaner. One of the things people are always concerned about with the reusable shopping bags is the cleanliness of them. So we're looking into making, organic cleaner.
So when you're up there in the
bags.
clouds flying around, you're thinking about all this stuff I'm going to come up with. Well, this is just awesome. This is great. And I thank you so much for coming in. And
my pleasure.
You
Thank
and
you
the
for having
other
us.
two gentlemen represent the state of Connecticut and what we're innovating and what we're doing to push the state forward. And I think it's just wonderful. So thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Appreciate it. And good luck with these carts.
Thanks.
And I hope to be pushing one of these soon.